Hello everyone, welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. Today's episode, I'm doing Mayweather versus McGregor part 2 pre-fight analysis video. I said in the first video that if I got 1,000 likes, I would do a second video. We got 1,000 likes in the first couple of hours, so thank you all for liking and sharing that video. Now I'm going to keep my word and do a second Mayweather McGregor pre-fight analysis. So this is part 2. I'm taking all the comments and questions from the original video, part 1, that I posted up. I'm going to jump in right away. First comment or question, the most popular comment or question is, this one is from CR1T1. He says, he knocked Diaz down 3-4 times in that fight. How do you call that second fight close in the end? Diaz looked like he was fighting a meat grinder. All Diaz had was a few flurries of sloppy boxing. Didn't do much damage at all. He tried to out-cardio McGregor. Now, it's unbelievable to me that people are still debating the McGregor-Diaz fight. For those of you who don't know, in the original video, I said that Diaz won the boxing portion to some extent against McGregor in the later rounds. Okay, he won the boxing portion in the later rounds, not the beginning round, the early rounds. In the early rounds, McGregor outboxed Diaz, no question about it. I was referring to the later rounds. Diaz was out punching McGregor. And I made a parallel that if it goes in later rounds against Mayweather, if Diaz was out punching McGregor, what do you think Mayweather's going to do in the later rounds? I was just trying to give you guys a reference point. Now, a lot of you took it as I was saying that McGregor got outboxed by Diaz completely, which is not true. In the first 2 rounds of the fight, okay, I'm referring to Diaz-McGregor 2, the first 2 rounds, McGregor, the first round and a half, McGregor, it was a picnic, okay? It was just a picnic. He was picking every shot off, every counter, everything Diaz threw, he countered Diaz, and he just hurt Diaz, and he dropped him in round 1, and he dropped him in round 2. However, near the end of round 2, or at the halfway mark, McGregor started to slow down, Diaz started to pick it up, and Diaz started to land more punches. Now, I still think that Diaz lost round 2. A lot of people think that Diaz won round 2 with those flurries. I don't think so. I personally think it was a McGregor round. He knocked Diaz down twice in round 2 of their rematch. Diaz did a good job recovering and coming back strong, but not enough to win the round. But it looked like McGregor was breaking like he did in their first match. It looked like he was fading. It looked like he slowed down. And it looked like it was going to be a Diaz night. Now, a lot of people gave this fight to Diaz. So, CR1, I don't know what you're saying that, 99% of people, no, sorry. I would say it's 50-50. 50-50. 50% of people give it to McGregor. 50% of Diaz people give it to Diaz. Now, I don't have any hard facts. I'm just telling you what I've been, my opinion on the matter. So many people have been talking to me about that fight. So many people have messaged me on that fight. It's hot and cold. A lot of people think Diaz won. A lot of people think McGregor won. I personally gave it to McGregor by a hair. And it came down to 1 round. I gave 3 rounds to McGregor. The 4th round, in my opinion, was the hardest to call. If I remember correctly, it was the 4th round. It was really, really close. I thought McGregor had landed the better shots, therefore I had given it to McGregor. But rounds 3, was it? Yes, I believe it was rounds 3 and 5 that I gave to Diaz. I'd have to rewatch the fight to be sure, but if I remember correctly, it was rounds 3 and 5. Gave it to Diaz. Rounds 4 was so close, could have went the other way as well. It wasn't a blowout fight, CR1. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, the first round and a half was completely dominated by McGregor, but we have to look at the whole fight and the way fights are scored. I'm not going to explain it to you. I think we all know how, and that's how you should count a fight, okay? Because that's how they're counting it. So that's how the fighters are fighting. The fighters are fighting according to the rules of the fight. Now, I'll remind you that in Conor McGregor's corner, they were telling him to relax after round 2. It's just like you were on this is the last few rounds of the row machine. Like they were trying to tell him, look, your cardio's there. Keep working. Now, why would they tell him that? The fight is so easy. He was in a hard fight. McGregor was showing signs of wear and fatigue, and he was losing some exchanges. He had to dig down deep to win that fight. He said it after the fight that he got to show his heart. You don't show your heart in an easy fight, blowout fight, okay? You show your heart in a hard fight. Everybody thought it was a hard fight. It wasn't a blowout. I can't believe some people think it's a blowout. It's just crazy nonsense. It was a close fight, super competitive. 2 great fighters put on a great fight, great show, and there's nothing wrong with those kind of fights. It doesn't take away anything from McGregor or Diaz. Sometimes the other guy is just really good, and you got to play that fight. So for all of you out there who took it as I was saying that Diaz outboxed him completely, you're wrong. What I was saying is that In the later rounds, Diaz was winning this is what I was talking about in the first video. I'll make it even clearer. In their first fight, McGregor and Diaz, McGregor easily won the boxing until he got hit with that 1-2, and then it just dropped to 0. I wasn't referring to their first fight. I was referring to their second fight. What happened in their second fight? Well, round 1, all McGregor. First half of round 2, all McGregor. The second half of round 2, Diaz starts punching. Yes, in the clinch. Yes, pushing him up against the fence. Yes, dirty boxing. Absolutely. But still, his output was higher than McGregor's. And McGregor started to break a little bit at the end of round 2. I still gave round 2 to McGregor, but Diaz started to put the hands on him. In round 3, it looked like Diaz was going to jump on him and finish McGregor. What did McGregor do? Well, he did the best move he ever did in his career. He started leg kicking. Rewatch that fight. In round 3, he chops the leg of Diaz. Diaz's Achilles heel is the leg kicks. If you guys know Diaz, I've seen every one of his fights. He's never been able to block leg kicks. And he has tender legs. His legs get tenderized quite quickly. Dos Anjos, Rory McDonald, so many guys have chopped his leg. He has tender legs. So what happened next? Diaz started to back off, take away the pressure. If those leg kicks weren't there, in my opinion, Diaz would have started to mow him down. He would have started to mow him down. In their first fight, McGregor didn't go to the leg kicks. He didn't go to the leg kicks. And it was a boxing exchange after he got hit with that 1-2. And he fell behind, he panicked, and he lost. In his words, he panicked. In his own words. So, those leg kicks helped him evade the high volume punches of Diaz. In his fight with Mayweather, he won't obviously have those tactics. He's going to have to show what punching output he can put there. And I think personally that Mayweather is going to hit high numbers. He's going to hit high numbers. He's going to be very busy. Yes, he's calculated. Yes, he's a methodical fighter. Yes, he doesn't throw more punches than he has to. But in this fight, in the later rounds, because of McGregor's training and his background, he's going to fall behind to somebody who's been boxing his entire life. That was my point. It was quite simple. Maybe I didn't make it clear, but in my head it was quite simple. The punch volume is going to go to Mayweather, no doubt, even though Mayweather is not a guy who's going to just blitzkrieg with a bunch of punches. Okay, he's not going to be in there trying to throw nonsense. He's going to throw a calculated punches, but he's going to be a lot busier than McGregor in the later rounds. A lot busier. McGregor's going to fall behind in punch count, for sure. Not only is he going to get countered, not only is he going to get hit to the body. Again, don't forget, in MMA, body shots are a lot less frequent. For those of you who are boxing fans, because I'm sure a lot of boxing fans are listening to this, because after reading the comments of the first video that I put up on McGregor versus Mayweather, so many comments of guys who just don't understand what MMA is. They really have no idea. They think MMA is just like weak boxing. The boxing in MMA is different. The gloves are smaller. The defensive tactics are smaller. The distance is greater. There are a lot of differences between punching in MMA and boxing. Now, a lot of you who maybe with less experience probably think it's the same. It's not the same. Okay, McGregor is an excellent puncher. Now, for those of you who think that MMA guys can't punch, well, I'll refer you to this. Saenchai, one of the all-time greatest kickboxers. For those of you who are boxing fans listening to this and you don't know anything about other martial arts, okay? Don't start commenting on who's this Saenchai guy, who cares? No, Saenchai is he's a living legend. He's considered a living legend. He has hundreds of fights. He fights bare knuckle. He fights fighters 20, 30 pounds heavier than him. He fights foreigners. He fights every single challenge you've ever put up. He's the Mayweather. He's the living Mayweather right now of kickboxing, Muay Thai. Okay, and this sport is far more brutal than boxing. You're allowed knees. You're allowed elbows. It's highly refined. They start training when they can walk. They have hundreds of fights in their youth. This is a highly competitive sport. It's the national sport in Thailand. National sport. It's a highly competitive sport. And this guy's on the top of that sport. He's a living legend. He's on everybody's top 15 list of greatest fighters of all time, kickboxers of all time. Nobody would leave out Saenchai's name. He is a legend. Saenchai watched a video of McGregor fighting. And when he watched McGregor's video, he said he'd never fought somebody as accurate as McGregor. He was inspired by McGregor's punching ability. He said his punches are super accurate. I've never faced a guy like that. I would love to fight McGregor. That's what he was saying. Not in a bad way. He was just saying that he would love to challenge himself. Now, if the elite of the elite is telling you the guy can punch, I think you guys should show some respect. You know, maybe you guys are threatened because another athlete from another sport is invading your sport and you think that you got to be really negative towards them. I don't know what it is, but the guy's an excellent puncher. Now, for those of you who are still not convinced, there's a video on YouTube. There's a video on YouTube of somebody showing Mayweather Sr. McGregor's fight against Alvarez. And Mayweather Sr. is watching the video. In my opinion, it looks like he's watching it for the first time. He's never seen McGregor punch in his before. He's talking shit about McGregor. He's saying McGregor's going to lose this and that. And then he watches a video of McGregor fighting Alvarez, and you could see his face is shocked. You could see that he's never watched McGregor. He doesn't know who McGregor is, and he doesn't know what to comment because it's a highlight video of McGregor punching, and he's doing a brilliant job. And Mayweather Sr. looks mystified, doesn't know what to say. He's just kind of in awe and totally in his bubble. So you can obviously see that the man was impressed with McGregor. Now, do I think McGregor, all this to say, do I think McGregor is going to beat Mayweather? No. Do I think he's going to outpunch Mayweather? No. But he is super skilled in his sport. He would destroy Mayweather. In his sport, the fight would not last more than a minute. If we put Mayweather in McGregor's world, it wouldn't last 1 minute. It shows how talented McGregor is to be able to make that crossover and to make us have to talk about this fight, and that this fight is actually an interesting one to watch, okay? And that goes to show how good of a puncher he is. Now, we've had a boxer, a world champion boxer, go from boxing to MMA, and we had the James Toney go in MMA, and it wasn't pretty, okay? I've got so many comments, guys saying that they think that boxers can win MMA. Listen, there are thousands of guys out there, thousands, that can beat Mayweather in an MMA fight. There are countless, okay, myself included, okay? He doesn't know how to wrestle. He doesn't know how to kick. He doesn't know anything about jiu-jitsu. If he doesn't land a punch right away, he's gonna lose. And there's a lot of competent MMA fighters out there that would beat him easily, McGregor obviously included, okay? So boxing fans, I respect you. I enjoy your sport, but don't be delusional, okay? Don't be delusional. He's really good, Mayweather, yes. But he's a lot smaller and he's human. And McGregor's got a killer left hand. He's probably going to, I really believe Mayweather's going to win because we're fighting in his arena, absolutely. But to go on and say that MMA fighters don't know how to punch, to imply that they don't know what they're doing in the ring, I got a lot of comments like that. People just disrespecting MMA punching. 4-ounce gloves makes a huge difference. But anyways, so with that, let me skip to the next question. This one is from Chowd. Chowd asks, Mayweather clinches all the time. He's always wrapping up his opponents. Floyd also sneaks in those elbows. I don't think he can rattle Floyd. All your advice to Conor was to cheat. No. This was another comment, a very typical comment I got. Okay, number one, I didn't give advice to Conor for him to cheat. Okay, I didn't recommend that Conor cheats in this fight. When you're fighting somebody who's more skilled than you, you try to make them forget their technique and bring them into a street fight. You try to make them break away from their game plan and get them emotional. Now, how do you do that? Well, you rough them up. Now, there are a lot of boxers who use this tactic. I don't want to name names, okay? I really don't want to name names because I don't want to upset people, but there are boxers that are when they get in the fight, they do borderline stuff. It's not illegal what they're doing. They're just kind of not really boxing as clean as they could. Okay, they're bumping shoulders, they're bumping with elbows, they're stepping on toes, they're bumping knees, they're bumping hips, they're shoving. This is not, you won't lose a point. You won't even get a warning sometimes. Sometimes you won't get a warning. It's a fight. Okay, it's a fight. It happens. I'm not saying that McGregor should break any rules. I don't think McGregor will break any rules. Nobody will break any rules. Nobody's thinking about that. That's just crazy. Okay, so I would never ask McGregor to cheat. However, my point was be as physical as possible with Mayweather. Be as physical as you can with Mayweather. Bully him in there. You're the bigger, stronger, better athlete, in my opinion. Now, to say that Mayweather is a great clincher is correct. However, he's not a great wrestler. His level of clinching competency pales in comparisons to McGregor. McGregor wrestles on a daily basis, on a regular basis, including jiu-jitsu and stand-up wrestling. I have trained with professional boxers, and when I clinch with them, they're weak. Okay, and I'm not saying this in a negative way. They're weak compared to us wrestlers. They're weak compared, I should say it that way. They're strong clinchers in boxing, but when you come on, you're gonna clinch with a wrestler? Are you kidding me? Like, these are boxing fans right now airing their yes, he's a great clincher in boxing. If I bring you a wrestler to clinch with a boxer, he's gonna say that the boxer doesn't know what he's doing in the clinch. Now, for sure, McGregor can't use throws and trips. He can't do any of those. But just the physical, the musculature, just the athleticism that he has in the clinch is going to be superior to Mayweather's. Not the punching ability. He's going to get out punched in the clinch. But the grabbing and holding is going to fatigue Mayweather before it fatigues McGregor. McGregor has wrestlers grabbing him on a regular basis since he's a kid, pushing him up against the fence, trying to hold him down, trying to choke him out. He's been doing this since he's a kid. Mayweather has been doing a very light version of grappling. Okay, it's just the clinching in boxing, the clinching in wrestling and jiu-jitsu is nowhere near. It's not comparable. Okay, it's not comparable. Mayweather is not going to be able to bully McGregor in the clinch physically. Yes, he'll be able to sneak in punches. He'll pass the elbow. He'll bump and slide in those uppercuts. Absolutely, he'll outbox him in the clinch all day long. No question about it. But the grinding of the two fighters is going to work in McGregor's favor. So there's one positive on each side, okay? So if McGregor can find that positive, maybe take away some of that explosion, pull on the neck, push, shove, irritate Mayweather, get Mayweather brawling, which I don't think will happen, would definitely work. Next question. This one's from Cosmic Ape. Cosmic Ape comments and says, Mayweather via whatever he wants and whenever he wants. Now, this was a popular comment. Again, I'm in agreement with you. Mayweather's the better boxer. McGregor's the better all-around fighter. It's craziness to say anything else until proven otherwise. McGregor's gonna take that chance. He's gonna try to land that left. If the left doesn't land, yeah, he's got nothing else. I agree with you. But he's still got that dangerous left. So let's tune in. We're all going to tune in and see what happens. Next one. This one is from Kibron Jerving. Forget winning the fight. If Conor wins one round, I'll never respect Floyd. Now, this is a bit of a crazy comment, okay? I think this is probably a boxing fan also. And listen, Mayweather is not going to do what Jose Aldo did. Jose Aldo jumped on McGregor. You know, McGregor's there, set, ready. He's an extremely competent counterpuncher, and you just jump on him, and guess what? You got countered bad. Mayweather is going to do the complete opposite. So you'd be surprised, Kibron. Mayweather might let round one or round two just go by the wayside. He's a 12-round fighter. He's not worried about rounds 1 and 2. He's going to go there. He's going to defend himself. He's going to want to feel the speed of McGregor. He's going to want to feel the power of McGregor. And after he gets that information, he's going to assess, his strategy, and he's going to adopt the strategy during the fight. Mayweather is the best at adaptation. He is. He always figures out his opponents so far in his career. And he might lose a round or two. He might not care about the first round or two. He might not start fighting till round 2 or 3, which would be a very smart strategy for him. Okay, so McGregor's had 95% of his success has come in round 1 and 2. That's where McGregor is the most dangerous. Don't you notice that he's always predicting rounds 1 and 2 wins? I'm going to win round 1. I'm going to win round 2. His predictions are never in the later rounds. Never. It's never by submission. It's always the same thing. I'm going to win early, and I'm going to win with the left hand. And the more aggressive his opponent is, the more he predicts a shorter fight, right? Because he's a counterpuncher and he's got that left. Mayweather is going to do the opposite of every opponent McGregor has ever faced. He's going to go in there. He's going to throw very little punches early on. He's going to want to feel McGregor's power and strength, and then he's going to formulate a plan. It's going to be Mayweather after 2-3 rounds, maybe 4 rounds even, depending on what Mayweather feels like doing. Next question. Mayweather's chin equals underrated. McGregor's left hand equals overrated. Mayweather's got a great chin. Nobody underrates that. Nobody. McGregor's left hand is a phenomenal tool. You're probably a boxing fan. Go check out his highlight video. Okay, he's got a great left hand. He's knocked a lot of people out with it. It's one of a kind. Will it be as potent with a 10-ounce glove? I don't think so. Not just because he's wearing extra 6 ounces, but because Mayweather has an extra 12 ounces to protect himself with. This fight should have been signed with MMA gloves. It would have been a better fight. Boxing match with MMA gloves would have been a much better fight for McGregor. Okay, next question. This one's from Isaac. Isaac asks, you can't compare Zab Judah and McGregor. Judah would whoop on McGregor, moves better than McGregor, mastered boxing. That was Zab Judah's only good round against Floyd, and saying that it's a close fight is bias. Okay, so I said that Zab Judah versus Mayweather was a close fight. I still think it's a close fight. Isaac, I'm sorry, I got to disagree with you. It was a very good fight. I thought Mayweather won it, but it was a close fight. I wasn't comparing Zab Judah to McGregor. There's no way I was saying that McGregor is as competent of a boxer as Zab Judah. Zab Judah has obviously been boxing, as a profession, and McGregor's doing MMA, two different sports. However, what I was trying to say was, my point was, when Mayweather fights lefties, does he get hit with the left? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And he's been hit hard with the left. Can McGregor hit him hard with the left? It's just possible. It was for you guys to make up your own opinion. That's why I put up the highlight video. I have the right to put up boxing footage. I thought it would be fun. And that was my only point. Look, he gets hit with the left. Southpaws are tricky. Southpaws are tricky. And Mayweather's no exception. He falls prey to the left hand like everybody who fights southpaws. Every so often gets hit with the left hand. Now, McGregor's got a devastating left hand. Now, what I will tell you, though, is I have met Zab Judah and I've met McGregor, okay? I've met them both personally, and McGregor is a lot bigger and seems a lot more physically strong. A lot more. Now, again, McGregor has been wrestling for years and years. He has wrestlers push him up against the fence, try to hold him down on the ground. I mean, this is a type of strength you develop only from a decade of wrestling, and Zab Judah obviously has not wrestled as much as McGregor, okay? So, real important. I wasn't trying to say McGregor is a boxer like Zab Judah. Absolutely not. Just, it was a question of, look, he gets hit with the left. What do you think? McGregor's got a great left. Mayweather's been hit with the left. Yes, that was a fight that happened a long time ago, but that was Mayweather's peak. When he fought Zab Judah, I thought he was really... His peak lasted quite a long time, in my opinion. He's one of those rare guys who just stayed strong almost his entire career. But that was a tough fight where he got hit with the left. My only point. Next question. This one's from Mike. Basically, the only way Conor can win this is by trying what Maidana tried already and failed twice. No. Now, when I said that I wanted McGregor to dirty box him and all that, that's for later rounds. McGregor is not an infighter. He's not a Maidana. Maidana is the kind of guy who's going to jump on you and just throw a volume of punches and work. He's a workhorse. He's not a sniper. McGregor is a sniper. He's going to snipe the first few rounds, but there's going to be a point where, in my opinion, he won't be able to keep up with the boxing pace. Now, there's a number of reasons. One, the distance is different. McGregor's not used to having somebody so close to him because there's no kicks allowed. So when there's no kicks allowed, we're a little bit closer to each other. And in boxing and in fighting, an inch is a mile. Okay, there might be just a few inches in difference, but that's a mile in fighting. Okay, for those of you who don't know, it's a mile. So McGregor is not going to be used to that, having somebody so close to him in proximity who's going to be as busy. And McGregor has a defense that's made for a long distance. Okay, so what does that mean? How many times have you seen McGregor hold his hands like this? Or those boxing defenses are for close range. In MMA, you don't need those as much. You don't need those as much because when the guy gets close to you, you can grab him. You can foot sweep him. You can throw him to the ground. Now, obviously, you can't do this in this fight. So what I was saying is when Mayweather gets close, he better tie him up, use his physicality, use his background in wrestling to push him back out and keep the fight at a distance. Not to try to do what Maidana did, okay? That's not what I meant. He's going to have to control the range. But there's going to be a range, a boxing range, an infighting range, where Mayweather is just going to be light years ahead and McGregor has no chance in that range. McGregor has to use tie-ups, his experience in wrestling, his physicality of wrestling, his athleticism that he built from wrestling to push Mayweather out, use his distance and reach, and beat Mayweather conceivably from the outside. Now, I don't think he's going to beat Mayweather from the outside. Don't go out there and now start saying, Coach Zahabi says McGregor is going to beat Mayweather from the outside. No, it's not what I meant. Okay? He's going to beat him by fatiguing him in the clinch or from the outside sniping like he always does. Okay? McGregor is a distance fighter mostly. A distance fighter. Next question. This one is from Quan. Quan says, P.S. Zab Judah is at least 4 times faster than Conor and twice as slow as Floyd. Conor will not land one glove on him the entire first round. The fight won't go more than 1 round. Well, Quain, I believe is your name. The fight, in my opinion, will go more than 1 round. Okay, again, I'm not going to talk about Zab Judah again. I made it clear. This fight will very likely go more than 1 round. When was the last time Mayweather knocked someone out? It's been years. Okay, it's been a long time. And even when he knocked out Ortiz, it was during an apology. Ortiz was trying to talk about what, headbutting him or when I was trying to apologize. And Mayweather cracked him a shot. It's very well known that Mayweather has brittle hands. He's broken his hands many, many times. And his hands are just not super strong. He can knock out McGregor, absolutely. But probably by volume. TKO punches. TKO. He's probably going to drop him once, twice, 3 times maybe, and they'll stop the fight. A clean KO would surprise me. Like what he did to Ricky Hatton, that would surprise me. I don't think McGregor is that reckless. Hatton was a bit reckless. He walked into a bad shot. I don't think Mayweather knocks people out like that. So, I think it will go multiple rounds. And if there is a TKO, if there is a knockout, it'll be a TKO. That's my opinion. Again, we haven't seen Floyd knock people out with big punches. Can happen, of course. This is boxing, of course. But I think you boxing fans are gravely underestimating McGregor. Now, I pick Mayweather to win. Absolutely, I do. Like I would pick McGregor to win an MMA fight. But to say that McGregor is not going to last 1 round, I think it's a little bit far-fetched. But again, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. PR1000. Coach is right. Rough up tactics can work, but Conor has a weak MMA boxing defense. Floyd's sharp counters will drop Conor coming in. I agree with you. His boxing defense, not his defense, okay, not his fighting defense. McGregor has excellent fighting defense, but this is boxing. There's a lot of boxing blocking tactics that McGregor has not cultivated in the last few years. He didn't need them. He was fighting MMA. The gloves are smaller. You can't use those. Mayweather will have a significant advantage in certain ranges, especially with those big gloves. Mayweather has been using those big gloves to defend himself for many, many years. He understands the nuances of using the glove, and he'll have a major advantage. I totally agree with you. Arthur Santana, touch of death with those huge gloves? I don't think so. Great comment. I agree with you. It's going to hamper McGregor's chances to win. McGregor should have asked. He would have never got it. But this obviously would have never happened. But an MMA boxing fight with MMA gloves, that would have been amazing. A boxing fight with MMA gloves, of course, the commission will never allow it, all that stuff. But conceivably, it could happen if Mayweather went into MMA and they had a gentleman's agreement. That is conceivably possible. And I would trust Mayweather to hold McGregor to hold his word. If they had a gentleman's agreement, it would be conceivably done. Maybe the rematch should be done. Maybe if McGregor loses, they should have a rematch. Mayweather steps into the octagon, gentleman's agreement, no takedowns, no kicks, no elbows, etc. And McGregor, I think, has the guts to do that. Has definitely the guts to do that. The whole world would tune in. That would be even better than part 1. And I think MMA gloves will make a difference. Now, I'm not saying McGregor will win in a boxing match, even with MMA gloves. I'm just saying it will make a huge difference. And maybe we see a surprise here and there. WDRS, bottom line, this is 100% boxing match, not MMA, and Floyd is not a lot smaller than Conor. I disagree with you. If he's about comparable to Zab Judah, I've never met Mayweather, but if he's the same size as Zab Judah, roughly, he's a lot smaller than McGregor. I think it'll be more evident once they're standing next to each other. This one is from Popius. Popius says, Zahabi is only person that has blatantly stated that Conor used the leg kicks is what helped him beat Nate. Otherwise, he would have been outboxed. Finally, someone who respects Conor's ability but is objective and rational about his fighting style. Thank you, Popius. Yes, like I said in the beginning, I'm not going to go over it again, but there was a punch volume issue. Diaz was busier with the hands, and if that's the result with Diaz's output, Mayweather's output will be even greater. It can be if Mayweather chooses, and that will be a serious negative for McGregor. Next, last one, guys. Here's from Atreyu. Atreyu says, You're wrong about Conor being the better fighter. Conor never kicks in the fights, let alone wrestles or jiu-jitsu. Mayweather is the far more superior fighter. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Boxing fans now are saying, this is a boxing fan, I'm assuming you're a boxing fan, Atreyu. You're saying, look, Conor doesn't use kicks and grappling and wrestling in his fights. He uses mainly punching. Therefore, Mayweather would beat him because that's what he fights. That's what McGregor does. McGregor is a very good wrestler. He's a very good kicker. He doesn't use it in the fight because he's fighting guys who are weaker than him in striking. It's a strategy thing. Take my word for it. McGregor could take down Mayweather in a heartbeat. Easily. First of all, he took down Max Holloway. Okay, so if you guys don't know MMA, go watch McGregor. He does do takedowns. He did it. He tore his ACL in one of the rounds and couldn't really punch and kick anymore because his knee was, torn. And he used takedowns to dominate the fight on the ground. So he showed competence in takedowns. And to say that Conor doesn't use jiu-jitsu or doesn't use wrestling in his fights is absurd. Yes, he uses it in the negative. He uses it backwards. He uses it to get off his back, etc. But he can still wrestle. He could still shoot a double. He could still clinch, underhook, double leg, trip. You're totally wrong, Atreyu. If he fought Mayweather, he would take Mayweather down very, very easily and early, and he would sub Mayweather quick. Just make no mistake about it. Take my word for it, okay? Or go step into an MMA gym. Go do some grappling. Step out of this boxing world and go see what else is out there. I think you'll be surprised that judo practitioners, wrestlers, grapplers, they're very competent. Okay? It's not just boxing. Boxing is not the end-all, be-all of all sports, okay? Actually, all those other combat sports would beat boxers. You'd be surprised. Judo guys would grab a boxer and throw him to the floor. Wrestlers would take a boxer down to the floor. It's just, you have to understand that boxing is a great sport, but if the guy doesn't know MMA, if he's not using boxing and he doesn't have a backbone in MMA, doesn't have a backbone in wrestling or jiu-jitsu, his boxing is very unlikely to work in a real altercation against a trained martial artist from another combat sport. You need a background in wrestling. You don't have to be the best wrestler. You just have to be good enough to stay standing. And Mayweather obviously has no wrestling background. And that's not a stab at his excellence. He is not trained to wrestle. He's trained to box. He's a phenomenal fighter. I'm taking nothing away from him. He is trained to box. I don't hold it against him that he doesn't know how to wrestle. I don't look down on him because he doesn't know how to wrestle. All I'm saying is, if these two worlds were to collide and there was no rules, the wrestler will win. Okay, the guy who boxes and wrestles will beat the guy who just boxes. Take my word for it, Atreyu. I train all day. I've trained countless fighters. I've seen countless fights. I'm in this world like all in. I'm all in, okay? Take a step into an MMA gym and check it out. See what you might learn. A lot of people think it's easy. You just sidestep when the wrestler comes in and hit him. It's not that simple. So, with that said, I think we got a lot of comments. We got a lot of weird comments this one, and I'm sure it's a lot of boxing fans because the MMA fans, they just don't talk this way, and they don't comment so negatively, especially not on my channel. You guys are usually so positive on my channel, and I always appreciate the positivity. Thank you, boxing fans. Try to be a little bit more humble, okay? Because you think we sound dumb, we think you sound dumb. Let's just try to explore each other's worlds. Okay, I box on a regular basis with professional boxers. I myself like to get in the ring and put on the gloves and spar. Okay, and I respect boxing greatly. I love boxing. I enjoy boxing very, very much. I like the sport. However, if you haven't got into an MMA cage, if you haven't experienced MMA, you're probably, mistaken. So I've been in your world. Come into ours. And I think you'll have a paradigm shift. I think you will have a greater understanding of what combat is. I really appreciate you guys always supporting this channel. Thank you. I had fun doing this video. And listen, I know you guys are going to be asking for a third video. So look, if we get 5,000 likes, okay, I think 2 videos is plenty. But if we get 5,000 likes, which I don't think we will get 5,000 likes, I'll do a third video. All right, guys? Appreciate it. And see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Bonjour, mon nom est Marc-Élie Toussaint, je suis entraîneur de sprint depuis 23 ans. Je travaille au niveau de la vitesse avec Georges Saint-Pierre depuis 4 ans Je viens de tester le Tim Tam. C'est le meilleur instrument au niveau du relâchement musculaire que j'ai testé de toute ma carrière. Je le recommande à tous.
When you train a lot, you get tight. The best way to loosen up your muscle is the Tim Tam. Hi, I'm Jean Saint-Pierre. I'm using the Tim Tam machine after my training to help me with my recovery.